Hey guys, welcome to paint night. Just to warn you, I have a devilish kitten in here who likes to play with the tripod. I think I will have to move her. But first, we'll say hi. Kitties, look at the camera, turkey. There you go. Now you're gonna go get evicted. Okay. So welcome everybody. Hope everyone is having a great week so far. This is the painting we're painting. I'm gonna go dump this kitten somewhere real quick. I'll be back. Okay, sorry guys. Darn kitten. I was just about to start and then I looked down and she was right there. Okay. So this is the canvas we're doing today. This is, yeah. You are on time, Emily. Oh, it is so hot today. Oh my goodness, I am like melting, and when it's so hot, my brain is even less workable. See, I can't even say that. Less workable than normal. All right. Paint I'm using is just Craft Smart paint. And I'm going to be using white, blue, green, purple, and black. But you can use any colors you want. This painting looks great with a ton of different colors. So feel free, if you like the warm colors, go ahead and use that. If you hate green, don't use that. If you hate purple, don't use that, etc., etc. So feel free to switch out the colors to whatever you would like. Okay, that's a goopy one. This is like the cheap of the cheap paint from Michaels. And this is a canvas I'm just reusing. Otherwise, I would quickly run out of space, so I spray painted it. Where's your white? I said white. I'm confused. No worries, Becky. So, yeah, I'm going to walk you through this step by step. You can follow along right now if you want, or you can just hang out and chit chat, follow along later. And you can do it now and later if you want. I'm using 3 brushes, same brushes I always use for the paint nights. So I've got a 1-inch foam brush, which I love using for the background. This is I think this is a 1/3 of an inch flat brush, and then a little detail brush. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Aw, thank you so much, Becky. DJ Pup Eclipse C, how old are you? I'm just curious. All right, please let me know in the comments who is following along with me, who is painting today. It helps me to know how many people are following along. Just as a quick note, if you do not have acrylic paint, you can use anything. If you want to do watercolors or inks or oil paint or even markers, whatever you want to use, feel free. And do not forget to thumbs up. Okay, we have Sophie here painting. Mama Romero, I'm using white, blue, green, purple, and black, but you can use any colors. This looks great with warm colors as well. So any colors you have. All right, Ruger Girl is painting. Charming Giraffe's painting. Okay, great. Alexius is painting. No worries, Stephanie. And Jennifer is using her imagination. That's excellent. Let's get started. All right, so starting with the foam brush. You guys know I like circles for some reason. So our kind of focal point, I guess, or central point is going to be up here. So not at the center, so it's a little bit high. So I'm just starting with some white. Make a big circle. You can't really tell because it's a white canvas, but I'll go ahead and throw some blue in here so you can kind of see it a little better. And just go in this circular pattern. I'm going to go back in here with some more white because that's a little too blue. Maybe we flip it over. Okay, great. Oh, hey, Ellie. Welcome. Thanks for watching. How is Texas? How are you enjoying Texas? This is a 16 by 20 canvas. Sorry, I didn't say that earlier. All right. So now that we have our circle there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue that all the way out, but we're going to interchange the colors. So I'm going to start by going ahead, I'll put a little more white. The cool thing on this is you don't have to do a specific order. You can go in whatever order you want. I'm going to do some more just blue. And here I'm going to kind of set aside a space here for my moon. You don't have to, but you can. And I like to do my background really choppy for this one. I'll fix that. So now I'm going to go in with a little bit of the green. And you're just going to kind of go back and forth between these colors. So now back to a little bit of white. I prefer to not make the background too dark, but you can definitely go darker if you want. If you want to do more of a night sky. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of purple in there as well. When you get to the corners, I just do this. And you're going to keep going. Now, obviously down here we have this ground part, but I like to keep going all the way down to at least about here with my circles, because you don't want to have to put too much ground. So feel free to leave the bottom maybe inch or so of the canvas empty, but we're going to fill this mostly in. All right, I'm going back to white. I need to actually get a little more white out. Back to some blue. And this definitely shows you that you can really use any colors and there's no real right or wrong. Now, the more you go over the same spot, the more blended it will be. If you don't go over it, it stays nice and choppy like this. Okay. So Nick just said he's having the spinning wheel of death. Is anyone having any issues? I'm not having any issues on my end. So let me just type a reply to Nick real quick. Okay. Yeah, this one does have the touch of Aurora Borealis look, depending on what colors you're using. Okay, so let's get in here with some more whites. Just try to continue that circular motion the whole time. I love it personally. As you know, with my acrylic pours, I love tree rings. And with my acrylic paintings, I love the swirly circular background look. I use this in so many of my paintings. Sometimes maybe a little too much, but I like it. And everybody else seems to like it, so, you know, it works. All right, I'm definitely gonna get in here with a bit more of the purple. white. This one looks like a tunnel. Like we're going in a tunnel. Yeah, no two of these paintings will ever look exactly alike. Even if you try to do the exact same colors, you might be able to duplicate it a little more if you wrote down like the order that you did the colors in and did it in the same order somehow, but I think it's fun to make it new each time. All right, my corners, those a little better. Okay. So for those that are painting along, please let me know where you're at on this. My moon is definitely higher on this one. Well, pro tip here actually. Let's say you take a look at it and you're like, it's too high. It is so easy to move it. Like I can just move it right down here. Watch this magic. Go in here with some more white. More blue. This is why it's good to do the background pretty fast too, so your paint stays white. Makes it easier to adjust. So your paint stays wet, not white. That didn't even make any sense. Forgive me, it's the heat. Almost. There is something that I call endless background syndrome. So once you're generally happy with it, leave it, okay? Ellie, yeah, there was a sea turtle video. I'll show you the painting real quick. And it's still up there if you want to follow along. All right, Creative Rainbow just started. Emily, if you haven't started yet, you're a little late, but you can go ahead. You definitely have time. Just do your background as quick as possible. All right, we have J Rath Innovations in the house. Okay. All right, everybody else painting along, please let me know where you stand. If you need a bit more time, I'm going to give you guys a minute and I'm going to grab a bottle of water. Good to go. Okay. Awesome. Yay, Veronica, I love to hear that. All right. So give you guys another minute or so and then we'll go on to the next step. Ellie, is that your the channel that you've been posting videos on? The one you're writing from, DJ Pup Eclipse C? Is that the one that you post videos on? Okay, good. Let's go ahead and go into the next step, which is still with the foam brush. And we're just going to add the little bit of black around the outside. It is not actually like totally required, but I like it. It definitely gives it the night feel. Well, there you go, Veronica. All right, so keeping in mind where your water is going to be, put just a little bit of black around kind of the edge of your circle. A little goes a long way, so take it real slow with this. And then go in as much or as little as you want. We're kind of doing a vignette. Vignette? Man, that's one of those words I know how to spell it, but I'm not actually sure how to say it. Whatever. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. As always. So, I like black. I'm going to keep going a little more. Just don't overdo it. You can add more black. You can't really take it away. Zoom out. Yes, I'm so sorry. I'm going to actually adjust this. It's funny because it's a little bit of a different view on my computer than it is on my phone. How's that? Better? Okay. Yeah, so just a little bit. I don't go too crazy. Sometimes I do. As much or as little of the black as you want. Now, if you do end up overdoing it, you can tone it down a little bit with another color, but it's really best to just not overdo it in the first place. Okay. Drop the brush and walk away. Now you can't see the bottom. I can see the full thing on my screen. That's very weird. Okay, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I don't want to zoom out too far though, because otherwise, especially when we get to the details, that'll be too difficult. Okay. Yeah, I can see the whole painting. And then some now, but that's okay. All right. So now everyone should have their black. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add in the water here. So I recommend going, I think this is about 4 inches up, but you can do a little more or a little less using the same foam brush, no water, haven't washed it or anything. Go ahead and just take some blue and go across the entire bottom. Try to make a sort of even line. And the thing I like about this is you're intersecting the circles. So you have the circles cut off by the line. I like that personally, for some reason. It makes me smile. So I have all those colors in my brush, as should you. So it shouldn't come out to be a solid blue necessarily. But we're also going to go ahead and add some more colors. Oh, that's awesome, Ellie. So guys, if you do have a minute, Ellie, who is this DJ Pup Eclipse C, she's a girl that went to school with my daughter, but then moved to Texas. Anyway, she has her own YouTube channel where she's been posting some of her fun art videos and I think other videos. So if you do have a moment, feel free to pop over to her channel real quick and give her a subscribe. I'm sure she would love that. All right, I'm gonna bring my water up a little bit higher, but as I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding in some other colors. And you can have as much or as little fun with the water as you want. You could leave it like this, but I like to go ahead and add in some white here underneath, you know, theoretically where the moonlight would be. So I'm just going a little back and forth with the white. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of purple in here because I like purple. Ellie, that would be a better conversation for another time. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Man. So sorry about that. I hope that did not break anyone's eardrums. Okay. So remember that this whole section over here is going to be covered with black. So you don't really have to worry about this part of the water, okay? Mainly work on this. I'm gonna go in here with a little more purple. And then I'm gonna go back to just a little more white. I'm gonna have the white go right along this top line here. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I'm gonna leave it at that. Nope. Gotta fix this part. Sometimes I go, that looks good, and then I look at it in the computer, and I'm like, wait a second. Okay. Yeah, sorry about the eardrums, guys. Okay, so let me know when you are done with your water, those of you painting along. And then we'll go ahead and go on to the next step. It is best for this to dry before we add in the other part down here. But there is one more step we can do while that's drying, if you guys are ready. Actually, two more steps, but. So let me know. Hi, Ariel. Good morning. Good afternoon. All right. Good morning from Australia. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and we want to make sure that we're fully done with the sky, of course, before we get started on the tree. So we're going to go ahead and add the moon and then some stars. I'm not sure if you can see this, but if you guys don't mind, I will go ahead and bring you in closer for just a minute here. Can you guys see the stars on this painting? I can bring the painting closer too. So there's definitely more than you can see in the camera because they're small. But what we're gonna do is, we'll start with the moon. I'm gonna just take my medium flat brush and the white, and I'm gonna go ahead and just make the best circle I can in here, in the middle of this circle. This is actually not required. I did another one where I just left it as it was and it works. It still looks like a moon either way. And you can do any colors you want on this. You can go white, blue, purple. On this one, I did it a little purple. On this one, I think I'm gonna actually go a little more on the blue side. Maybe a blue gray. This is the hardest part of the painting, making a circle. I've already made it larger than intended. I always say go small, start small, you can make it bigger, you can't make it smaller. And I did not listen to my own advice in this case. I got a little too excited. Okay, that's not too shabby. It's a little wonky. I'm gonna add just a little bit of the gray, just a little bit of black. You can do whatever you want with this. I'm gonna give it some texture with my finger. Why not? It's a little too smooth. I think you guys knew that I was a finger painter, right? Okay. There we go. Hey, Jude. Well, Ariel, these post to my channel so you can always follow along later. All right, now on the stars, there's a couple ways you can do this. Actually, there's probably like a bazillion ways. But my favorite method is to load your brush up with some watered down white and to flick it. But another really good method is to take the back of your paintbrush. As you can see, the back of this one already has black on it. So I've clearly used it for something before. So just take the back of your paintbrush, dip it in the white, and go ahead and start putting dots all around. And pro tip, the harder you push down, the bigger the dot. So if you want some smaller dots, don't even push it all the way down, just barely touch it to the canvas. And you don't need to reload in between each dot. Try not to make a pattern. Feel free to make some constellations if you want. Just kind of go all over the place. We're not going for like freckles here. Remember, it's stars and they tend to be kind of in clusters. And you can also do both methods. So you could start out with some of this and then you could take your brush with some of the paint in it and let's see if this will do it. I didn't water this down, so it may or may not work. Yeah, it worked. Well, it worked once. But go ahead and just flick some paint on there with your thumb. Uh-oh. See, that's a danger. That's just a really big star. That's another planet off in the distance, okay? Anyways, so you can flick the paint or you can just do the dot method. Either way, I say don't overdo it, but I know some people really like to have a bazillion stars on there. So do whatever makes you happy. This is going to drive me crazy, so I'm going to fix that really quick. 1 second. Generally, things are like, it's a happy accident. You know what? It's a shooting star or a comet. Ha! Okay. Boom. Fixed. I find life is a lot happier when you kind of go with the flow. All right, painters, let me know where you stand on your stars and your moon. You need a little more time. You know, I had water break here. Do a little more flicks over here. Carefully, hopefully. I like the flicking method because you're definitely able to get smaller stars. Perfect. Okay, I'll leave it. Ready? Okay. What about you, Veronica? You ready? Mama Romero said doing the wrist tap for specs, so that works too. Is hitting it on your wrist to flick. That might be a safer method. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add in the ground, and then we do the tree. The tree's last. So for this, I'm gonna go ahead and use my medium flat brush. I did go ahead and rinse this off. I actually need to move this back out so that you guys can see it again. 1 second. Go as smoothly as possible. All right. That might be too far, but hopefully it's at least far enough. Also, guys, if you enjoy these videos, please feel free to super chat or PayPal donate. The super chat is right there in the chat box, and the PayPal donate link is in the description. So anything helps and is much appreciated. It's like a virtual tip jar. All right. Thank you, Emily. Okay, so let's go ahead with the ground. I rinsed off my medium flat brush. I'm using black, and essentially we're gonna go from the top of our water line over here. I like to just put some black on the top of that. And then we're gonna come down, say about a third of the way into that, but we're gonna come down across here. This definitely start slow. I hope you guys didn't start too fast, but if you go too fast, you'll end up just covering your whole water, and you don't want to do that. See, I even put too much black there. I might have to try to fix that later, but taking off black is not easy. If you guys want to know a trick though, while the paint is still wet, if you take a paper towel with water, it's basically the same thing as an eraser. But you know, use sparingly. You shouldn't have to erase black. Okay. Might have to touch that up later, or I'll just, you know, the tree will blend right in. So yeah, start very slow on this black part. You can add to it, you cannot take it away. I'm going to call this one the painting of many mistakes. All right, fill it all in. A net, I generally do. For some reason on this one I did not, but yeah, I generally paint the sides all black. I don't usually continue the painting around the sides because I'll start that at the beginning and then I forget halfway. So I just paint the sides black at the end. Now this ground can also be adjusted later as you add in your tree. You might go, oh, I want to add a little more to it. That's okay. Just gonna add a little bit over here. And if your water's still a little bit wet, don't worry about it. You might get a little gray. That's okay. All right. Jude, you can absolutely share. Okay, and now for the tree, which is my favorite part. Let's keep this one really simple, okay? So the first thing you start with is the trunk. Same medium flat brush. We're gonna just start with a black line and put this a little more to the left on your island here. Does not have to be perfectly straight or anything. And then we're gonna go ahead and slowly fatten it up. So make the bottom just a little bit wider slowly. Now the good thing about this tree is that the flowers cover so much of it that you really don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and add some of the branches. Now keep in mind, I like to have this wrap around the moon, okay? So it's kind of, you're gonna kind of have to look at it in advance, make sure that it's high enough that the top of the tree will go about up to here, and then it's gonna wrap around down here. All right, keep that in mind with everything, with your branches and whatnot. So I'm gonna put a branch over here. This is a medium one. Then I'm gonna put one over here. And then we'll put a couple at the top as well. Keeping it very simple for now. And that's it for the medium flat brush. I'm going to set that in my water. I'm going to go ahead and go onto the little detail brush, and we're going to go ahead and add some smaller branches off of these bigger ones, but really keep it simple. We do not need a lot of branches on this tree because it's going to be covered up. So these are going to just be peeking through. You definitely still want to put them on there because even though you're adding a lot of those flowers, you'll still notice if the tree is missing branches. And so it's important to still have them even if you're like, that area is going to be completely covered in flowers. So go ahead and thin these out. I'm going to add a little more with my bigger brush here. This is going to get a little bigger. All right. I think that should do it. Hey, Janet. Oh, thank you, Jude. And before we go on to the flowers, I do like to add a little bit of lighting to this tree so that it stands out a little more instead of kind of just being just a black blob. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse my medium flat brush and take a little bit of white, and I'm going to go mainly on this left side, which you can see is where the moon is in relation to the tree theoretically. I mean, it is really wherever you want it, but in my head, that's where it is. This is optional. If you don't trust yourself with adding some lighting, feel free to just leave it black. But for now, I'm going ahead and going on the left side. You're not going to add it to the entirety of the left side, but just kind of highlight some of the branches with it and the trunk. Don't worry, Ellie, you got this. Now, a quick tip. Okay. So right now you can see we have white on a lot of this left side, but not really on any specific areas. You want to have the light closer to the top, and then you can have, how do I describe it? Anyways, long story short, you can use the dark to kind of position the branches in front of or behind each other, if that makes sense. So I'm going to leave this one totally dark, and that's going to position it on that side. Now this one I can darken it, and that will position it closer to me, or I can leave it all light, which will position it closer to the moon. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, it's perspective. Don't get too complicated with it. If you want completely leave the white out, or just do a little bit on the left side, and that's pretty much what you need. That will just give it a little more depth and life to the tree. So I'm going to add just a little more over here on a couple spots. Have fun with it. All right, I'm gonna leave it. Okay. Well, welcome, Katharina, but you should probably go to sleep. All right, we're almost to the flowers. But first, I like to put these ones on the ground here. You could actually do it in either order. Doesn't really matter. So who remembers the concept of stippling? Hey, Gloria. Hey, little Lulu. So with stippling, just going to go ahead and go back here. See how the tops of my brushes are, are spread out? It's not all smooth together. This is from doing a technique where basically you want those bristles to spread out and you're going to kind of be smashing it down. This doesn't work with a brush that the bristles are all together, like I'll show you. If you compare these two brushes, you can see one is much more spread out than the other. This one you can still stipple with, but okay. So for all of these flowers and the ground here, we're going to do the stippling technique. So go ahead with a little bit of white. And this is great actually if your bottom here is still wet, because we don't want a stark white. Like mine's actually a little too dry. Go ahead and add in maybe some blue or a little black if you want, so that you get more of a gray. But we're just gonna lightly stipple down here, because yeah, with the jacaranda trees, they shed like crazy. So they have petals all around the bottom. Gonna put some up here as well. Where this island starts and ends, it's a little convoluted. That's okay. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. So I'll put these down here. Feel free to add in. I'm gonna add in a little purple, because why not? But this is at night, so we can't really see the color down here too well. At least in my head. So just very lightly stippling. Do not overdo it. There we go. Yeah, you guys can definitely follow along later. Although I will say I have way better videos on doing trees than this one. So maybe check out some of my other videos that have trees. This one's the shortest, simplest explanation that I've done so far. Okay, good. So for those painting along, please let me know in the chat box where you're at on this. Are you ready for the flowers? Those are actually super easy. Probably the easiest part of the painting. It is all just stippling. So very easy. Hey, Christina Robertson. All right, J Rath Innovations is ready. Ellen joined way late. That's okay. All right, Veronica is ready but has a question. What's your question? Go ahead. I'm ready. This must be a long question. My tree is small compared to my canvas. Like you're gonna have an issue with reaching the moon or something? Because if so, you definitely should take a minute and make the tree bigger. I would at least. You don't have to. It doesn't have to wrap around like that. I just like it. So, hey Fab, it's 1:45 a.m. in France. Emily, I actually don't know. A friend of mine sent me a photo, and then, well, technically I made this one, but it was based off of a photo that a friend of mine sent, and I don't know where she got that. I totally modified it, so it's completely different than the one she sent me. But yeah, so I came up with this, but it was based off of another painting, which I'll have to look later on and see if I can figure out who did the original one. But I'm not totally sure. Okay. All right, the flowers are really easy. It's 3 steps. So with our medium flat brush, we're going to start with some purple, and you're going to start at the ends of your branches, and you're going to start with the stippling, go on the ends of all of the branches. That's just to start with. And then we're going to kind of we want to put our outline in here of where we're going to want this to go to. So go very slowly and a little bit at a time. Wrap it around how you like. We're going to continue to shape this as we go. And honestly, my comment might get covered up. Maybe not. All right. So now that I kind of have my general shape, I'm going to fill this in more. So the space in between your branches here, you can start to fill in some of that. Take it slow. You can always add more. You can't take some away. So I'm just slowly starting to fill this in. We're just sticking with the purple for right now. And I'm going to cover some of these branches here. Don't try to cover it completely, but it will end up being mostly covered as you go. All of the ends of your branches should be fully covered though. So we'll just slowly filling this in with purple. And we're going to basically do this same exact thing with 3 colors. We're using the purple and then the blue and then some white. And feel free to modify that in any way that you would like. And you can also go back and forth between the colors. So if after you do the purple, you start on the blue and then you decide you want more purple, we'll go ahead and add more purple. Totally allowed. All right, I think that's pretty good to start off with the purple. And now I'm going to go ahead with the blue. Now on the blue, we're not going over all of the purple. We're going to go kind of closer to the top, but not going all the way to the right. So I'm starting a few inches in, and then I'm going along the top. So it's going to kind of blend with the purple a little bit. Go all the way out. I need to actually pour a little more blue. 1 second, guys. The main thing I can say about this is keep it simple and don't overdo it on the paint. You can always add more. You can't really take it away. So going in here with the blue, filling in a little more close to the top. You can add some more throughout if you'd like, wherever. See how the tree kind of peeks through there? Some of my black is still a little wet. It's kind of blending in there, but that's okay. Especially since it's near the bottom, which is perfect. Excellent. Now after our blue, we're going to go in with just a hair, just a smidge of white. And same thing with the blue here, how we didn't start all the way to the right. We're going to start a little bit more even to the left of the blue. So go pretty much in the middle of the top of the tree with your white. Just a little bit at a time. We don't want it to be too stark. And we're going to go along the top here. This is the moonlight on our tree. And that is really it. It is literally that simple. You can fill it in more. You can go back and forth for, you know, back to some other colors if you want. If you're like, I want a little more purple in there, go ahead. If you want to do some shading, you can definitely do that as well. Ellie, sure. I think I might have done that one recently, actually, on a live video. Does anyone remember doing an owl on the live video? I feel like we did. The little kid one. Let me see. Have all my paintings here. I think we did. This is the one you're talking about, right, Ellie? If so, go ahead and look back at my live videos, because I'm pretty sure we did that one already. But I think it was at the beginning of the pandemic, at the beginning of quarantine. So it probably would have been in like March or maybe the beginning of April. Yeah, we did. So go ahead and look for that, Ellie. I can probably send your mom the link later. Yeah. Yeah, how all of the live videos that we've been doing, you can do them all later on replay. Okay? So if you miss it, you never have to worry about it. All right. So guys, that wraps it up for our paint night. Of course, do not forget to sign your painting. I usually sign it in the lower left-hand corner or right-hand corner with a contrasting color. So like right here, since it's black, I could use white. And then I always think it looks best to paint the sides. I will generally take my foam brush and just some of the black paint and just carefully go along the sides. You gotta be careful so you don't accidentally go across the whole thing. And that, I feel like it just kind of frames the painting. Once again, I don't know why I didn't do it on this one. That's kind of weird. But you can even see there the difference between this one and this one on this side. I think it looks more complete, but it's really a matter of personal preference. It's not totally necessary or anything. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this. Yes, I think these do look like a face next to each other, like eyes. One other tip too, for anyone that's doing this, like maybe you and your husband are at home doing it, I would paint it in reverse. So basically like the, either have the two trees going towards each other or away from each other, whichever, you know, however much you like your husband or don't like him. Or you can also kind of split the tree in half or something like that. So it is great to do that at home with family, friends, spouse, kids, etc. And for anyone watching later, please definitely feel free to do any PayPal donations. It really helps. Next week, I think we shall try the umbrella. Yeah, we'll do another one. We'll do this one. This one is a little bit harder, so bring your A game. Anyone can do it, even a beginner, but just getting this shape right is a little difficult, and then getting the puddles right is a little difficult. But I think I do a fairly good job of explaining it. So don't be worried if you've never painted before. You should be able to do it, and it will be fun. So thanks for joining me. I will see you all next time.